Hey y'all, hi, welcome back to the channel. I'm so glad you're here. I've been having so much fun making these videos. So today's video is in response to a question that someone asked on my last video, which was if I had tips for where to shop over age 40. Yes, I do. First of all, I want to address why is this even a question? Why does getting dressed, clothing oneself, feel like it's some kind of new, different, much harder challenge than it used to when we were a bit younger? And the answer, I think, is not that turning 40 is some kind of binary, like a flip switches and suddenly you have to wear totally different clothes and nothing fits all of a sudden anymore. But I think it's more of a slow evolution. It's a transition season in our lives where the things that we used to turn to grab that were kind of our tried and trues are just not fitting the way that they used to. And I mean this both in a physical sense, like our bodies have changed, hormones, age, maybe having a few kids by this point, you're just not working with the same raw material that you had before. But also, the messages that our clothes are transmitting may not fit us as well as they did when we first bought them or kind of got into a certain style. We liked what it said about us then. And now it doesn't feel like that message is resonating as much now. So it's kind of like back to the drawing board, but it feels like it's been so long since we put any attention towards developing, refining our style that we kind of don't know where to start. So, to address the question of where to shop, first I want to say I think this question is a bit of a misdirect because it's less about where you shop and more about what you're looking for. So, when you know what you're looking for, and I'm going to give you my best tips in this video, you can shop anywhere. So, you can shop in your own closet, you can shop in your friend's closet, you can shop on secondhand markets like Poshmark or Depop. You can go to the consignment store, you can go to the thrift store, you can go to the mall and buy it new. I don't really care. But what I want you to do is feel confident that you know what you're searching for in any of those places so that you're confident that what you're getting is going to be useful versus feeling like one particular store or brand is like the magic shortcut to always looking good, because I promise you that it's not. It's self-knowledge. Side note before we really get into it, I feel like there's sort of this negative connotation to growing older, to being kind of in this conundrum where you feel like the reason that you're stuck in this position trying to refigure this out from scratch is because your body isn't what it used to be. You got old, you got whatever, you lost something. I want to offer an alternate view, which is that we're evolving, we're growing, we're developing more into the person we were always meant to be. So it's not that you lost something and that's the problem where you're stuck with less materials to work with now or worse materials. It's really that they're shifting, they're evolving, they're growing. You are developing beyond that former version of yourself. The reason those old looks don't fit anymore is not because you've gotten worse, it's because you've gotten better. Okay, with that in mind, let's get on with it. This video is about the ways I've evolved my personal style over the last few years. Now, maybe your style is really different from mine, which is great. And maybe I'll do some future videos about different styles that you might have and how to apply some of these lessons to your style. If that sounds interesting, do let me know. But for the sake of this video, as I was preparing the content, I was thinking about how can I share things that'll give everyone, no matter what their style, something to chew on, something new to learn and think about. So with that, let's get into it. So the first tip for evolving your style over 40 is having a honed, purposeful color palette. Now, color. I could talk about color forever. I love the power of color. I'm obsessed with what it can do for our personal style. So this is a really, really juicy one. Having a purposeful, concise color palette will instantly make you look more put together. The power of working with color in your personal style is incredible and vast. So not only can color do the work of making you look better by wearing colors that complement your skin, you'll look better slept, more alive, more radiant. Your skin will look better. Amazing. We love that. As well as wielding the tool of color can really help you do a lot with your style, whether that's wearing bold, bright colors or adhering to a more minimalist, muted color palette. Either one of those or something totally different sends a really strong message that helps augment the other choices that you're making with your personal style. So it's worth paying attention to. So starting to think about your personal color palette involves two different dimensions. So one is warmth, figuring out if you're warm toned or cool toned. And the other one is saturation. So That's choosing colors which are either soft or muted, all the way to really bold, saturated, crisp colors. The goal of color palettes is not to choose which colors you think are cool or think are trendy, but to match the qualities of the colors to the qualities of your natural complexion, your natural coloring. You following me? That way, your clothing enhances your natural beauty, not fights against it. So, you may be wearing lots of cool muted tones that are actually dulling your natural beauty, which wants to be really bright and bold. Or maybe you're wearing loud colors that are glaring and hiding the softer, more subtle elements of your beauty. Personal story time. I used to wear a lot of muted, really warm, rich earth tones because A, they're beautiful. B, that was what I saw all around me. And I could really get behind the story they told of being kind of all natural, authentic. Like, I liked everything about that. That seemed great. However, when I was wearing all those clothes, I also always felt really bad about my skin. It always seemed really pale. I always felt like I had to wear a lot of color correcting makeup to make it look okay and make myself not look sick. And I didn't realize until I got my colors professionally done that I'm a winter, which means that I look best in bold, saturated, and cool colors. Basically, the opposite of what I had been wearing. Cut to me wearing my cool winter colors. Instantly, my skin looks clear, crisp, and even. It was like a freaking miracle. And now I let my clothes do the work that my makeup had been doing before. I definitely recommend investing in getting your colors professionally done by a color analyst. This was so life-changing for me that I got obsessed with it and became a professional color analyst myself. Y'all, I love this stuff. And I do think it's worth the investment because imagine how much money you spend on your clothes in a year. Think of just putting a tiny percentage of that towards getting some new knowledge about what really makes you look your best. And then every piece of clothing you buy after that, not just for the rest of the year, but for the rest of your life, will be hit after hit after hit. I'm not even kidding you. Your hit rate is going to go up like tenfold. It's wild. Truly incredible investment in yourself. However, not everyone has the means to invest in a professional color analysis at this moment. And if not, I totally got you. I'm going to give you some tips for gathering some information and some insights about your best colors. So the first thing we want to figure out is, are you high contrast or low contrast? That's going to give us information about whether you look better in bold colors or muted colors. So take a picture of yourself. It could be right now. It could be a picture you already have. It doesn't really matter. Put it on your phone or computer and convert it to grayscale. So we're looking for black and white now. What you're looking for in this photo is the distance, the difference between the lightest tone that you see and the darkest tone. What's closest to white and what's closest to black. So if you see a lot of high contrast, dark blacks and white lights, light whites, you've got a lot of contrast in your complexion. If, however, you're seeing colors that are all kind of swirling around the middle, like all different tones of mid-gray, that means you have low contrast in your face. Both of them are great. The trick is wanting to recognize what you have so you can match it and reflect it in the clothing that you wear. So people who have a lot of like middle tones in their skin, not a lot of darks, not a lot of lights, are going to look better in soft, muted colors that are all closer to each other, versus someone with a really high contrast of darks and lights in their skin is going to want to reflect that in what they wear with dark and light clothing that creates a lot of contrast, mirroring their face. You with me? Okay. Next one is figuring out if you have warm or cool toned skin. On some people, this is really easy to tell, and others, it's a little bit trickier. One of the best ways to tell is the jewelry test. So, do you already know that you look really good in gold jewelry or really good in silver jewelry? Now, don't get confused by which one you like more or which one you have more of in your closet. So I was absolutely a gold jewelry girly for many, many years. I just liked what it was about. I liked what it looked like. And I even have a gold wedding ring that I got before I ever got my colors done. So it's really not about where you've been. It's about what we can learn today. So with the jewelry test, I'm going to give you a few cheats, some things to look for when you're wearing either gold or silver jewelry to help you determine whether you might have warm or cool toned skin. So on warm toned skin, gold jewelry will look naturally rich and warm. The gold of the jewelry will reflect the golden tones in the skin. It's going to look really rich on you. Whereas on a warm toned skin, Silver jewelry will really stand out. It's going to look stark. It's going to look really bright. Some people love this look, and I know a lot of really tan, warm toned people who love wearing silver jewelry. It's all good. It's just about knowing the effect that you're trying to create, right? So the silver jewelry on warm skin will look bright, glaringly white, whereas the gold will look rich and kind of melt into the skin. Whereas on cool toned skin, gold is going to look extra yellow. It's going to look brightly yellow, and it's going to bring out the red tones in your skin if you're cool. Whereas if you're cool and you're wearing silver jewelry, it's going to look icy, it's going to look slick, and it's going to make your skin look really clear and smooth. Lastly, ask your friends, which colors do they think you look good in? Which pieces in your wardrobe do you wear and always get compliments on? Start to think about these things and piece it together and see if you can notice any patterns. Okay, tip number 2 for evolving your style over age 40. And this one is all about tailored details. Now, when I mean tailored, I mean additional pieces of structure on the garments beyond like a plain t-shirt, a plain sweatshirt, or anything like that. These could be collars, cuffs, pleats, some tailored structured shoes, even a blazer, something that gives a little bit of sense of formality to an outfit. And we're not talking head to toe tailored. I don't need you walking around looking like Hillary Clinton unless that's what you want to do, in which case, do you. What I'm talking about is playing with these more classic, structured adult details in a purposeful way to elevate your outfit, help you feel more put together and elegant without looking like you're going to an office meeting everywhere you go. So this is a little embarrassing, but when I was in high school, I thought blazers were the epitome of good style. Like avant-garde, cool 80s big shoulder pads. Like I just thought they were amazing. Did I wear them to my high school? Yes. Did I look a fool? Absolutely. What I could not pull off at 16, I can pull off at 41 and I'm slaying. I freaking love a blazer. I think it's so much fun. I think it feels so polished and elegant, and you can wear them with anything. Side note, I went to a public school, not a private school. So for all of you who went to private schools and you're like, what is she talking about? I was never forced to wear a blazer, so of course that's all I wanted to wear. But you may have no idea what it feels like to want to wear a blazer and think that they're aspirational. Bonus, I have found that adding these kind of older, more adult looking tailored elements to an outfit actually gives me license to mix in more playful, more juvenile touches or accessories that I otherwise would not wear because they just look too young or too ridiculous. So by really anchoring in the more polished side of the spectrum, I can play with the juxtaposition of having something that's kind of silly actually, and it makes my whole outfit feel more dynamic versus playing right down the center of the line and wearing everything that's kind of like reasonable, respectable, but not dramatic in either direction. Okay, tip 3 starts with a little bit of a lesson in textiles. So we're talking about wovens versus knits. Maybe you already know the difference, or maybe this will be new to you and you've heard these words, but you're not quite sure what they mean. So they both speak to how a garment is constructed, how the fabric is put together. So a woven is made of a warp and a weft. So that's basically two directions of threads going perpendicular to each other, making like a very tiny grid pattern of threads. So this creates a garment that has a lot of structure, is really strong, usually doesn't have stretch to it unless it's made of elastic fibers as well. Think of like a men's button-down shirt. So it's got a little bit of stiffness. It's got a more structured drape. It's not like usually super duper floppy. It can be, but I'm talking about garments that have a little bit of structure to them versus a knit, which is if you picture a sweater and it's got those little V notches, shrink that down super much. And then you've got like a jersey cotton, like a t-shirt that has some stretch and some give to it. It's a little floatier. It kind of follows the shape of the body a little bit more. If you look really close on a knit garment, you'll see kind of like vertical ribs going in and out and in and out. And that's your clue that it's knit instead of woven. A woven will tend to look a bit more flat. Why are we talking about this? I'm glad you asked. Wovens are the secret to looking more put together like 99% of the time, I swear. Give it a try. Let me know how it goes. Wovens add structure to your body. They have their own structure that they bring with them and put it on your body. Now, Some people's bodies naturally have a lot of structure to them. Maybe you're super lean, or maybe you're really muscular, right? That's a structured body type. Others of us don't have as much natural structure. We're softer. These are neutral distinctions. One's not better than the other. And I want to invite you to think about this almost as if it's an art history class. We're looking at a painting and analyzing the different components where the goal is balance, not all of one, not all of the other. So it's not that we're using woven clothes or any other kind of clothes to like hide or fix your body. There's nothing to fix here. It's really about thinking about achieving a more harmonious balance between elements. Like in a painting, you want light and dark, hard and soft. That's kind of what we're going for here. So if your body has soft curves, if you're a little more fleshy, great. Let's play with wovens to add that balance, add that structure to the softness that you already have. Maybe you're already really structured in your body, in which case, maybe you want to wear more knits, more softer fabrics to balance the structure that's already inherent in your body architecture. You see where we're going with this? Okay, tip number 4 builds on what we just talked about in the last tip, which is structures. Don't be afraid to add shape above and beyond your body shape. Now, I am an elder millennial, and back in the day, we wore everything tight. Tight was the only fit that any of us could ever conceive of wearing. Like, you wouldn't even consider wearing something loose. It just would be, well, can we make it tighter? And when you think about fit, baggy is not the only alternative to tight. There's also structures that play with body shape. And as we get older, these can be really fun to explore and experiment with because your age automatically lends you sort of a stateliness and an on-purposeness that being younger, looking younger, things can look silly on someone younger that look really polished and like assertive on someone who's a little older. It's kind of cool. So what I'm talking about is like adding a structured skirt, a structured sleeve, a structured shoulder. Don't be afraid to play with these things. I find that they add a bit of confidence, a bit of assertiveness. You may need to experiment a bit to find out which of these pieces, which of these accents feels best on your body. That's a bit more about your personal body architecture, which aspects of your geometry you want to emphasize and are fun to play with. Maybe it's a shoulder, maybe it's your waist, maybe it's a flare at the bottom of your pants. But think about playing with your body silhouette in your clothing. Whereas when we were younger, making an outfit more fun usually meant making it more revealing. And so now, playing with structure, playing with volume can be another way to turn up the dial on fun without being revealing, being like the only tool in your whole toolbox. Number 5, and this may be my favorite power move for over 40 dressing, which is power accessories. Adopt a power accessory. What is a power accessory? Nowadays, it feels like everyone's accessories have sort of gravitated toward the mean. Like, who amongst us is not walking around with an Apple Watch and like little gold huggies? It's fine, but it doesn't make a statement if everyone is wearing it. Adopting a power accessory is where you get to take a stand and really own it. And this is definitely the purview of the 40 and older. I think when we're younger, we just sort of pile on all the accessories. They change every week and there's no constancy. Whereas when you're older and you know who you are, you can be like, I'm thick glasses lady and I'm ready to commit to that for the next 40 years. And like, that is powerful. Other examples of power accessories besides glasses. Maybe you love wearing brooches. Maybe you're like a big bangle lady. Maybe you've got a necklace you always wear, like a nameplate or like a bold chain. Maybe it's like a fun earring. You're like fun earrings lady. Story, my husband met a woman at the school board at a meeting that he was at, and he came home and told me, oh, she's really cool. She's got short hair and fun earrings. I think you would like her. I was like, how dare you? And also, I probably would like her. Having a power accessory is a reward of the aging process, meaning you know yourself well enough to plant your flag in the accessory ground and just own it. For you, maybe this is a particular bag you always wear, or you're like a fanny pack person, or you have a particular watch that you like. Maybe you have like a really strong straight fringe or a winged liner that you wear every day. For me, my red lip has become one of my signatures, and honestly, it elevates every outfit that I wear it with. And it makes me feel finished even when I'm wearing a simpler outfit. So finding your own power accessory is going to take some experimentation, trying things on, seeing how they feel. But there is a really good clue. If you put something on and have this kind of feeling where you're like, Oh, do I dare? Can I really wear? Can I get away with this? But it lights you up inside and you have that like giggly feeling where you're like, is this allowed? Because it feels like that accessory magnifies some element of yourself that like feels really core, and you feel a little, it's a little spicy, a little emboldened. That's a really good sign, and follow that. That's a great sign to take that accessory for a test drive. Try it out for a day or two. See what people start saying. See how you feel walking around in that. If you try something on and you're just like, oh, no, great, move on. That little, could I? Dare I? Then you know you're on the right track. So that's it for today. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I'd love to hear in the comments, what is your power accessory if you already have one? Or which ones are you contemplating experimenting with? If you have other thoughts, stories about this transition to discovering your more adult style, I would love to hear them. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next time.